Hey guys, how's it going? It's Tang here. So in this guide video, we're going to be looking at the Monk's Fire Spirit Generator build for patch 2.3. So what that means is that our main damaging skill is going to be a Spirit Generator, and everything that we are going to be using or doing will increase its damage and attack speed as much as possible so that we can just mow everything down with our Spirit Generator. So have a look at the little gameplay video, then we're going to go into what we're going to be needing, the gears that we need, the legendary gems, alternative gears as well, the Kunai Cube skills, and Paragon levels. Alright, welcome back. So we're going to be looking at the gears first. The first pieces of gears that we're going to need is the two-piece set of Remnant of a Thousand Storms right here. The best one are going to be the boots and the shoulders. We want it for the two-piece set right there just to increase our Spirit Generator attack speed and its damage by 300%. That is quite a lot. Next is going to be the Death Diggers for our legs, because that will also increase our Spirit Generator attack by an X amount right there. So the maximum is 100, I only have 88, so you want to aim for the most highest one as possible. For our weapons, we want the Shenlong Spear for its two-piece passive. The first part will increase our Spirit Generator by 1.5% for per every spirit that we have. So the maximum spirit we have is 300, multiply that by 1.5 equals to 450% increase in damage for our Spirit Generator. Next part of it, when we hit maximum spirit, our damage is going to be increased by another 100%, but we no longer passively generate spirit. That is no problem, we're not doing that anyways. But also our spirit is going to be draining, so everything that we do, everything that we are going to do is going to be trying to maintain that spirit as high as possible to gain those two buff as much as and as long as possible. For our rings, we're going to be using the Focus and Restraint to increase our damage by 50% per buff right there. Now if you don't want to use it, or if you can't find it, you can definitely also use the Band of the Root Chambers right there to increase the spirit that we get from our Spirit Generator by an X amount to maintain that buff from the Shenlong Spirit. Or you can actually use, in conjunction with that, the Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac right there to reduce our cooldown for Epiphany to always be up, because we do want that toughness to be able to survive in higher grade Rift. Another ring that I don't have on here is the Broken Promise ring. You can actually use that broke build in here as well. So everything no. Lastly, it's going to be another ring is going to be the Stone of Jar. Another ring is going to be the Stone of Jar. Another ring is going to be the Stone of Jordan. It's not as great, but it's actually really great on elites because 30 extra percent is actually really great right there. Now I don't have the last ring right there. It's going to be the Broken Promise ring. You can actually use that ring as well in this build. Just make sure that your critical hit chance is at 5% base, and it still works pretty well as well. For our neck, the best in slot is going to be always the Hellfire Amulet. The next in slot, in my opinion, is going to be the Flavor of Time, because it will always have that cooldown reduction right there. Now, if you don't want to use that, you can definitely use the Eye of Elch right here to decrease your damage taken from range attacks by an X amount. Another alternative is those other necklace that will absorb the elemental damage and heal you. So those are your choices for necklace. For helm, we're going to be using Leoric's Crown to reduce our cooldown reduction. So for bracers, we're going to be using the Spirit Guards right here just to decrease the damage that we take. Now as you can see, I do have the Strong Arm Bracers and my Kunai Cube. You can interchange whichever one you want in the Kunai Cube or on you, depending on which stats is better, okay? So let's say if the Strong Arm Bracers is much better than the Spirit Guards, and the Spirit Guard was really shitty, then I would put the Spirit Guard into the Kunai Cube and the Strong Arm Bracers on me. For our belt, we're going to be using the string of ears right here so that we can reduce the damage taken by melee attack by an X amount. Now, if you don't have that or if you don't want to use that, you can definitely alternatively use the Vigilante belt to increase your cooldown reduction, or for damage, the Witching Arrow right here. Lastly is going to be our Cinder Coat and our Mage Fist for the chest and gloves respectively, just to increase our fire damage right there. Now if you can't find these or if you don't want to use these, you can definitely use the 2-set piece from Juliana Stratagem right here, the chest and the gloves for the 2-piece set, which means that every 3rd hit of your Spirit Generator applies Exploding Palm. So that's an alternative right there. That's up to you if you want to use that or not. Okay, so now for the stats priority, we want cooldown reduction to be as maximum as possible, then critical hit chance, then critical damage, attack speed, and then fire damage, and of course crippling wave if you can. Okay, so those are the stats priority. Let's go into the Kanai Cube right here now. So for the weapon slot, we have the Flying Dragon, of course, no brainer there. Chance to double your attack speed when attacking, which means that we can do more damage with our Spirit Generator. For our armor set, we're going to be using the Strong Arm Bracers. Like I said, whichever stats is better on the Strong Arm or Spirit Guards, you could definitely use or interchange right there. Alternatively, if you're using Cyclone Strike with Wall of Winds, you can definitely also use the Ancient Parthen Defenders right here to reduce your damage taken. Lastly is going to be our ring. It's always going to be Unity, just to decrease our damage taken. If you want to be really spontaneous, you can use the Broken Promise ring to do a lot more damage, but of course you're going to be taking a lot more damage yourself. It's truly up to you. So let's go into our legendary gems right here. So those of you who are playing Season 4 and consoles, you're going to be using the Bane of the Stricken right here. It is exclusively to you first only, and it is still best in slot. Even with the nerf that it's gotten hit in the PTR, it's still really great. So you're going to be using this. Now those of you who are not playing seasonal, the one that you're going to be using is the Gokok of Swiftness to increase your attack speed by 15% and of course reduce your cooldown reduction. The next gem we're going to be using is going to be the Bane of Trap, of course, to increase our damage by an X amount right there. So the last gem choice is totally up to you. You can either use the Pain Enhancer or the Simplicity Strength right here. Pain Enhancer will do damage for an X amount bleed as physical for over 3 seconds, but not only that, you'll be getting Blood Frenzy right there, which means that every mob that has the bleed damage from this gem will gain you 3% increase in attack speed. So that means 10 mobs equals to 30% increase in attack speed. So that's quite a lot right there. So that's my choice. You can use the Simplicity Strength right there to increase damage of your primary skill, which means your Spirit Generator, and of course heals you for 2% of maximum life on hit. So that is it for the legendary gems. Let's go into the Paragon levels. Now for me, because I have such high cooldown reduction, I don't put anything into movement speed, because every single time I use Dashing Strike, you know, it's always going to be up anyway. So everything I put into is Dexterity, which increases my damage and my toughness. For offensiveness, we're going to be using cooldown reduction topmost right there. And because I'm using the Pain Enhancer, I'm not going to be putting anything into attack speed. I'm going to be putting next into the critical hit chance, and then critical hit damage, and lastly is going to be attack speed. For defense, you want, of course, resist all, armor, life regeneration, and then life. For utility, you want life on hit, area damage, and then resource cost reduction, and of course lastly is gold fine. Alright, so for our skills, we're going to be using Crippling Wave Mangle Rune right here for our Spirit Generator, which is fire damage, so that's why we want everything with fire. And also, with every third hit that it does, it will decrease their movement speed by 30% and decrease their attack speed by 20% for 3 seconds, so which means that we can survive just a little bit more. Now we're going to be using the Mantra of Salvation, Agility, and then Epiphany Desert Shroud there. For survivability, toughness, no need for explanation there. For our Dashing Strike, we want Radiance to increase our attack speed by 4 seconds right there. Now if you do have trouble with surviving, then go with Blinding Speed right there. It's really up to you, but increasing in attack speed is actually really great. We're also going to be using Breath of Heaven with Infused Light right here. Now the reason why we're using this is because, well, of course it's going to heal us, but we're actually going to gain 14 additional spirit from our spirit generator attacks for 5 seconds after using Breath of Heaven. So that means that we're going to be gaining a lot more spirit when we're hitting our spirit generator with this as well. Lastly is going to be Cyclone Strike. The reason why we want to use this is because we want to pull everything in us. We're only using our spirit generator, so that means that no 7-sided strike to, you know, do that exploding palm thing. We're pretty much in one place, so we want to pull everything in one place. So we want to use Implosion. Now if you don't want to use Implosion, you can use the Wall of Wind right there to freeze everything for 1.5 seconds. So it's really up to you whichever one you choose, but Implosion is really good because it pulls for a really far range, so that's why we want Implosion. Lastly is going to be our passive skills right here. We will always want to use the Beacon of Utah to reduce our cooldown reduction. Next is the Alacrity passive to increase our attack speed of our spirit generator by 15%. We're also going to be using Seize Initiative right here to increase our attack speed for 4 seconds by dealing damage to any mobs that have above 75% in health. Last is totally up to you. You can use Harmony or Sixth Sense to increase that toughness, or you can use Near Death Experience as well. It's really your choice and your preference to whichever one you use. Alright, that is at the end of the guide. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you liked this video. If it helps you out, a thumbs up would definitely be appreciated. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And don't forget to press subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Oh, enjoy Season 4.